Hey, we are the Lab Doctors. I'm Amanda.
I'm Dorothy.
And I'm Zhao Yong.
We are biomedical researchers who realized we still have a lot to learn about science.
So why not join us on this quest?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lab Doctors podcast. So this week we're going to be talking about
whether it is possible to control weight pharmacologically, which means like with drugs.
yes.
But like why? Do you know anything? Or like
I don't know how, but my answer is still yes.
okay.
Is it the oil thing?
Oil?
Like it traps the oil from your food.
That sounds familiar, but no, not this.
Okay, tell us.
Okay.
Tell us, yeah.
I mean, like disclaimer first, for me, like weight control is all about health. I also feel like we are not necessarily at the point where complete weight control with like drugs is safe or can be considered safe. So I just feel like if you're interested in weight loss, the best is still good diet and exercise, right?
Intermittent fasting.
Or that, yeah, safely. So why I want to talk about this topic is because it's science that I'm just like, oh, this is amazing, but it's also like very scary.
I'm a bit scared.
And so there's this new research that was conducted by researchers from UPenn, Cornell, and led by Professor Madhesh Muniswamy from the University of Texas's Health Science Center's Long School of Medicine. So it's just this team across different institutions. And this research concerns one particular ion that we have talked about recently. Any guesses?
Magnesium.
Oh.
So what is magnesium's role on a cellular level?
It's a cofactor
Okay.
for a lot of biochemical reactions
Okay, but what is its role
in digestion.
isolated, like as an ion within the cell, not part of like a protein?
Oh,
Exactly.
in the cell.
Yeah, it's not really talked about, right? Like when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I know calcium. I know what calcium does.
I
But,
guess
like, what does magnesium do? So this is still like theorized, but what people feel, what researchers or scientists feel is that calcium ions rapidly mobilize to initiate on reactions, whereas cellular magnesium carries out the off reactions. So calcium switches things on, magnesium switches things off.
Cool.
wait, they theorized this?
Yeah, so it's still not entirely clear.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's not in textbook.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not.
think. Yeah.
Exactly. And this idea was already proposed like several decades ago.
Decades.
Yeah. But the control and physiological consequences of intracellular magnesium, so intracellular means inside the cell, right, remains poorly understood. What is known, however, is that deviations in magnesium levels from average contributes to several diseases such as hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, asthma, Parkinson's, and even Alzheimer's disease. I don't know why I said even, but like an Alzheimer's disease. Okay. And so what does magnesium have to do with weight? Well, we need to talk about a particular organelle in the cell known as the mitochondrion or mitochondria for plural, which is
the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah. So mitochondria or mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell and they generate energy. So to do so, mitochondria need to transport ions into and out of themselves. So the surface of mitochondria have ion transporters, and this includes a transport protein known as MRS2. So
Magnesium.
it wasn't like there wasn't a long form for it.
what?
But it is like a magnesium selective transporter. It was recently shown to transport magnesium ions into the mitochondria. So what the researchers were interested to find out was the physiological function of MRS2 mediated magnesium ion uptake into mitochondria, and ultimately MRS2's effects on bioenergetics and whole body metabolism.
So just so that I'm caught up here. So the mitochondria is involved in metabolism. So that's where the weight control comes in. And you're saying that the magnesium going into the mitochondria is what can be regulated to regulate your weight.
I thought we haven't reached the weight part.
Yes, but we haven't reached the weight part.
Okay, yeah, okay.
To investigate the effect of MRS2, they use specific MRS2 knockout mice. So this means that the mice don't express any MRS2 transporters in any of the cells throughout its body. So that means like ultimately it's still not required to
For survival?
Yeah. apparently.
Wow.
Maybe there are other ways that magnesium can be taken up into the mitochondria. This is just like the most efficient way.
Yeah. Again.
Oh, right. No, I was thinking that the whole body doesn't have mitochondria. Right. Okay. That makes sense now.
Are these mice skinnier?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Ooh.
Or fat.
That's in the results. We'll go into that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They also use wild-type mice, which means these mice express everything. They are just your average normal mice. And they are the comparison or the control group. So the two types of mice were then split into 2 groups each. So 4 groups in total. One group from each mice consumed chow, which is the normal average food that mice get in research facilities.
Boring food.
I guess. Well, the other group would consume what they call a Western diet.
Which is what? I don't want to sound mean, but is it like too high in fat?
French fries.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's,
Burgers.
I think,
Can you imagine the mouse?
Nibbling on the burger. The French
cute.
fries
So
and
cute.
stuffing it in the cheek.
so it's just composition wise is closer to what Westerners have for a diet.
Okay, yeah.
Which is high fat.
Which is 40% fat, 20% fructose, and 2% cholesterol. So what the rest of the percentages are, I don't know because they didn't say. I
Yeah,
think
and what's
it's
in a healthy diet? What's in a normal
proprietary.
diet?
20% fructose. Oh my goodness.
for chow, which isn't exactly healthy, it's just average diet, right?
I guess it's healthy for the mice.
I think it's just average. It's supposed
Like-
to be like baseline.
Yeah.
So it's like 50% carbohydrates, 21% protein, and 3% fat. Then there's a whole bunch of others.
That's
I'm
a
just
lot
thinking
of
like, where's the
difference.
fiber?
Oh, there is
I
like
think
5%
that, yeah,
fiber.
confirm. They need to,
Do their business.
Defecate.
yeah.
So after 52 weeks on said diet, so 52 weeks is like
1
what?
year.
A year, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's like almost half the mouse.
Or the entire mice, like the life of the mouse, like I think
Yeah.
at 1 year it's
They
more-
will be elderly already.
yeah, like 50 to 60 year equivalent for humans.
Damn.
So wild type mice under Western diet gain 4 times the amount of weight compared to MRS2 knockout mice.
Damn.
So I feel like this study, okay, I don't know, but it feels like 1 year would be a lot of time for something to happen, and therefore you probably will get significant results.
Maybe. But like this, we are talking about change in body weight here. So not just, so like you are accounting for the fact that like,
Wait. This is the high fat diet
The Western
comparison.
diet.
No, sorry, the Western.
no, there's another diet called high fat diet.
Oh, okay. So the Western diet comparison means, did they compare wild type and MRS to normal diet?
Oh yes, I'll go into that later.
No, so is this 4 times the difference of that? So say there's like maybe
No,
5
this
grams.
just change.
Wait, so 4
4 times weight change.
4 times weight change. So it's not 20 grams to 80 grams. It's like they're supposed to increase 5 grams in a year, for
Yes,
example.
yes,
Then they just increase 20 grams
Yes,
instead of 5.
exactly.
Shit, that's still a lot though.
No, yeah. So not only that, MRS2 knockout mice did not exhibit a gain in energy store expansion, meaning they didn't grow in fat distribution around the body. It prevented spontaneous hepatocellular carcinoma, which is tumors in the liver resulting from fatty liver.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they also retain normal liver function. So what is crazy to me is that you would think there must be some downside to like this
Yeah.
MRS2 thing, right? But apparently, according to like whatever they measured, the MRS2 knockout mice still maintain some level of normal circadian patterns of respiration, meaning that their body's like energy production still follows like the normal average hormonal circadian cycle. And further analyses also showed the absence of metabolic syndrome phenotype in MRS2 knockout mice. So like metabolic syndrome is like hypertension, diabetes, all these other things. Like MRS2 mice are just,
fine.
yes.
Wow.
So what exactly is happening in the MRS2 knockout mice, which allows for this compensation? Any guesses?
The MG2 plus is not getting into them.
Yes. That's given.
Oh, isn't processing the energy through the mitochondria important?
Yes, but remember what we said. If calcium is the on switch,
Magnesium is the off switch.
So
what
there's
does it
no
not?
off for metabolism, so therefore they metabolize a lot and don't gain weight or lose weight. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do they lose weight? No.
They don't lose weight, they still gain weight.
Oh,
That's it,
wait.
that's still
I
a
just
gain, it's
realized
just not.
the weight change is in the wild type mouse.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
As in the weight gain is in the...
They all gain weight.
They all gain weight.
But the biggest gain is in
The Western diet.
Western diet wild type mice.
Western
Yeah,
diet.
yeah, yeah.
wild
So
type
actually
mice.
4 times is like, so say normally they gain 5 grams. So say for example, a normal mice goes from 20 to 25. So on a Western diet, it could be they gain 20. So 20 plus 20 is 40 grams, right? By the end of a year.
Yeah, but that's still twice its body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either case, what Dorothy said was true.
Yes.
There's an increase in thermogenic activation, meaning that there is increased glucose and fatty oxidation and oxidative phosphorylation, basically energy producing like processes in the mitochondria.
Yeah.
Wait, so now we have just been comparing high-fat diet in the wild type.
The Western
Western
diet.
diet.
The Western diet in the wild type versus the
MRS to knockout.
Yes.
Okay.
So does that mean the mice are superheated?
Are they? I
Are they
don't
all
think
thing?
so. I don't think so.
I think their body temperature will go up.
Apparently not.
Yeah, no, because at the end, homeostasis, you have to bring your core temperature to like a certain. If your body temperature just goes up linearly, then you would overheat.
I mean, not linearly, but like the basal level will be slightly higher.
Yeah, you would think so, but apparently not. So it's all like roughly the same.
I think it's because your body gets used to it and then it will
Maybe
bring
they
it back
drink
to
more water.
baseline.
So apparently there's no significant changes in food intake, water consumption, or locomotion.
Sorry, the drink more water. It just made me think about like, oh, don't so heaty.
yeah.
So, I mean, what I noticed is that the temperature taking seems to be only at one point in time.
Oh.
But maybe it's like these mice
Throughout the day.
they are constantly hot. Even when they're sleeping, they're like hot.
Mm.
Because like, generally when we sleep, our body temperature might decrease a bit. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how comfortable this is for the mice. Like if they are like, oh, I'm warm all the time. This is so toasty and nice. Or it's like, oh, I'm warm all the time. Oh, so hot. I want to shed my fur. Anyway.
No. But they like to stay together. I think
Yeah.
like in the cage.
So
When
are
they
they
sleep,
cold?
right?
I think it helps with the body warmth.
Yeah, because they lose heat very easily.
Maybe that's why.
Okay, yeah, maybe it works for mice because they lose heat easily also.
Yeah.
They don't wear clothes.
So, what is even more interesting to me is the MRS2 knockout mice under child diet. You want to guess what happened?
They lose weight.
So, no.
They're fine.
To my relief, there's also no significant difference between MRS2 knockout mice and wild-type mice under the child diet for the
Oh.
metrics they measured. So, what this means is that if you were eating a relatively average or even healthy diet, in fact, it doesn't really change much.
So you won't need all these MRS to knock out
Yeah.
blockers, whatever.
Yeah. So you must be wondering, hello, weren't you talking about a drug like before this?
But it will give me the leeway to eat this Western diet. And then I can take these drugs.
It's like, oh, there's no point. There's no point if you eat a normal diet.
Yeah, my life is too short.
No, it's in like there's no point if you take these drugs and eat a normal diet because
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
effect. So you
Yeah.
have to eat a
Oh,
Western
yeah.
diet. You know what I mean?
The point is to not take the drugs, people.
Right.
So the researchers used a compound called chloropentamine cobalt chloride, or CPAC for short, CPACC. It's hypothesized to mimic the size and shape of magnesium ions and hence inhibits magnesium ion permeation, or rather like, the movement
Entry.
of magnesium ion. Exactly. It's a competitive inhibitor.
But wouldn't it affect other, like not just the mitochondrial uptake? What? So how do they?
I'm just going to go into the results first. What they found was that wild-type mice treated with this compound, and then I don't know why they suddenly changed the diet here to high-fat diet. I think they just wanted to see more like of the effect of thermogenesis.
Okay. But it makes it confusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sus.
A bit sus, honestly. But anyway, so what they found was that wild-type mice with the compound under high-fat diet had 2 to 3 times lower weight gain. So again, this is weight gain. This is not.
Absolute weight.
Yeah.
Wait, so even with the compound, they found.
It still gained weight, but it didn't gain as much weight as
Okay.
wild-type mice without the compound,
With a
Right.
high-fat diet.
with a high-fat diet. Yes.
Yeah. All of this is like if you're gonna take the drug, you gotta eat the high fat diet.
So does that mean we can just indulge in any food
Wait,
that
yes.
we want?
I want to know, are there any adverse effects?
So that's my thing. They didn't really look into
It's
it.
the most important part of this, isn't it?
Yeah,
So exactly, they caveated under their limitations that the MRS2 channel is expressed in almost all cells in the body because almost all cells have mitochondria.
Okay.
So they explicitly mentioned that the impact of blocking MRS2 function on other organs such as the brain, the heart, kidney, lungs, and skeletal muscles are unexplored, which means there are potential side effects that are still unknown. So this is really very preliminary science.
But this drug is not approved anywhere, right?
No.
CPAC.
It's just a compound.
Research
Yeah,
thing.
it's a research thing. So you can get it on Sigma. I looked it up and I was trying to find toxicity because I'm if you don't have toxicity here, there should be, that data somewhere. But it's all data not known. So I'm this is really not well researched. I think this particular compound is not well researched.
I guess it's new.
Yeah.
You remember we talked about the magnesium supplement episode? So now you're saying that we should be blocking magnesium.
If you're on a high-fat or Western diet.
No, but I think what we are saying here is that this is not really talking about magnesium levels, but we're talking about magnesium function.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think it's also talking about this very specific function of magnesium.
Yeah.
So am I saying that magnesium is unhealthy or bad for us? I don't think that's a safe conclusion. What I think is important is that they are talking about this particular function of magnesium that can help with controlling weight. But again, I don't think it's the healthiest way controlling weight because there are interventions that don't require this. I feel this would be quite extreme.
Yeah, probably for those people who maybe instead of liposuction.
Something like that. Yeah.
If there's no adverse effect
of
the drug.
Exactly. Yeah. So in conclusion, I feel it's exciting to kind of think that there's this pharmacological intervention on the horizon. But I don't know. I just feel medication is again not as healthy. Maybe I'm a boomer here. It just doesn't feel as natural.
Yeah, for sure.
And I honestly don't like the word natural also. But introducing something pharmacological into your body to control something is not necessarily natural. And
it may not be the best way.
Yeah, I still think it's definitely not a substitute for healthy habits. But rather, it should, if anything, used adjunct to it. So it can help you, give you a kickstart. But that doesn't mean that should be all. You don't do anything else. You don't try to eat healthy.
I think being averse to pharmacological intervention makes sense because your body has so many different things that keep it running and respond to things.
Yeah.
So I can see why you would be this is not the best way, but this is just one way.
Yeah. And also, who wants to be hot all the time, in Singapore?
No, but if you say the mind's not.
No, as in I think their body temperature is stable at maybe 37 for the entire day rather than it fluctuating. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure because they didn't do that.
Well, then we'll just drink more cold water.
But do we really need more people that's generating heat when there's climate change?
Yeah, that's true.
Releasing more heat into the world.
I don't.
I feel the impact is probably not that high.
Yeah, but you use more air conditioning.
Yeah. But if that is the case, then it's quite bad, I feel. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool science that I'm just wow.
Yeah, it's cool. But more work needs to be done.
More work needs to be done for sure. And as usual, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify. A like and a comment would really help us out.
You can also follow us on our social media, Instagram, Twitter or Facebook, and feel free to DM us any questions.
Alternatively, you can email us at thelabdoctors@gmail.com. We'll post the links in the episode description so you can check that out if you're interested.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.